that'll work. At least for the definition part. All right. Hello. My name is James Ardelos with One Guard Nation. We're going to talk about the basics of footwork and kind of what is footwork and why do we use footwork in our game in foam fighting. So, what is footwork? Footwork is to put you in the best position possible for offense. It maximizes your opportunities. And for defense, it minimizes your risks, right? It minimizes your exposure. So you want to maximize your opportunity and minimize your exposure. So the full definition is moving yourself in such a way that maximizes your opportunity and minimizes your exposure. So there's various ways to do that and to implement that into your game. What we will first cover when we go into the other room is defense. We'll kind of talk about offense after that, but the secret is they're the same thing. It's a blend, right? The defense and the offense kind of blend together and the movement becomes like a flow that you get used to, that you kind of feel. And the way to implement it into your game is really just to kind of start moving. First of all, you have to be conscious as to why you want to move in certain directions. We'll talk about that again as we go into the dojo, and then step into the dojo. And then, as you're conscious of it, you want to start implementing more and more of the movement, of the pieces, of making sure that you're right as you step in whatever directions. I step into the proper direction for the given situation. And then finally, after just that basic, like, where am I moving to give myself the most benefit, then we'll talk about, shots, and like maybe one shot at most that specifically we can show some footwork for and how that works to your advantage, given the definition that we've established of minimizing exposure and maximizing opportunity. And then we'll go from there. So while that shot might be in a certain direction with certain movement, that doesn't mean that's the only right movement. It's the right movement for that particular shot, thrown that way. There could be even movement for that shot that's in a different direction, thrown a different way, but for that way, this will be the best. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about. That is where we're going. And we will go back into the dojo. All right, the introduction piece is done. Never seen that. I've never seen the outside of the dojo, huh? Pretty cool. All right, so movement for offense, movement for defense. I think we should use this background. We'll pick up here, straighten out again. All this will get edited out if I use it. Here we go. There we go. We got a little weapons rack. Pretty cool, huh? All right. If you have questions, again, feel free to ask. I'm just making sure you can see my feet, my head. Looks like we're good. Okay. Move this stuff a little bit. All right, first, we'll talk about movement to maximize defense, right? How do we move to maximize our defense? And the answer is, depending on whatever your defensive implement is. If it's single sword, it's one sword. If it's flow, it's both swords. Obviously, if it's sword and board, it's your shield and your sword to some extent. You need to move in such a way that keeps your defense between your body, which is their target, and their offense, right? So generally, if I'm fighting a right-handed person, I'm going to move off this way to keep my defense right between me and them as I move and try to control the range, right? Try to find the right time to go. And I'll show you why that is with some real shots thrown. at me. We'll cover it real quick. I don't want to spend a ton of time on it. But basically, you want to block, you want to move your defense in the way of the targets that they're going to throw at, right? So if I think they're going to throw at my hip, I want to make sure my defense is there. I'll step into that shot to catch the block. To take the angle away, right? That's what you're ultimately after, is to take the angle away. Let's borrow something. Something real quick. So we'll do it this way so you can see us both. Throw just a hip shot at me. Yeah, sword side hip. Okay. Let's switch. That hit. But this is better. Sword side hip? Yeah, okay. Sword side hip. Easy. Hit me right in the hip, right? We're going to back a little bit. What we're going to do, all we're going to do is step right on that shot. So we're going to get a little off center, and then when he goes to throw, we're going to step, right? Step. Okay. You see what happened? We put our board in the path of his shot, and it stopped it. I didn't have to do anything else. I didn't have to block with my sword, right? When I know I'm fighting someone who wants to throw a sword side hip, my best thing to block is to kind of constantly move right to take that angle away from him. You know what I'm saying? Don't even like wait until it's too late and go, oh, this step as they're throwing. You can, and if your timing's good, you might be able to win. But if your timing's bad, they're going to kill you, right? Yes. So you don't want to just wait. You go ahead and do it ahead of time. Constantly kind of move to the right, take that shot away from you. Board side shoulder. Okay, switch again. Board side shoulder. Okay, again, he's sitting right here on my board side. I'm going to keep my board in the same place. All I'm going to do is step right. Okay. All right, see? We catch the block, the angle changes. Again. Yep, you need to try real hard, okay? See? Our angle changes, and that's how I turn just a touch. You can definitely do that. But the point is, even if I try, if he tries really hard and I just try to like aim that shot, right? I can block it, but then what happens, right? I've placed myself down, I'm leaning, now what do you do? Yeah, exactly. You just go to another spot. I've stuck myself to the ground and I can no longer move. Whereas if I keep my feet light and he goes to throw that, right? I can counter again. Or like say he's going to throw again right away. So throw, right? I can move and be completely out of where he's going to throw at with just tiny steps. You notice if you can see my feet? I'm not taking these gigantor steps. I'm taking little minimal steps to put me in such a place that it blocks, you know, the shot that he's trying to throw. So far we've blocked our board shoulder. We've blocked our sword hip, right? Just with movement. If he throws an ass wrap, we're in the right spot for that, right? Okay, hit, right? Easy enough. I'm not gonna really move my board. I step, go ahead, right? That little step, slight turn, right? Even if I don't turn, this step, same thing. I guess I turn a little bit, it's natural reflex for me. But most of the stepping right and sliding that foot is going to give you that block. All you need to do, minimal steps for defense to take away. We've taken away this as a target. We've taken away this as a target. We've taken away this as a target, right? Legs are still kind of there, although, you know, moving out of leg range is a thing you can do as well. Just have to be careful, right? Step and slide, get it out of the way. And the same thing if he's going sword side shoulder, right? If I step, I mean, obviously my stuff goes there, right? Sword side shoulder, always up and down, right? If I step, even if I'm done, even if I don't have my sword block in it, if I step, my shield takes it, right? So I have this open step, my shield catches that block. So you can kind of take away all the locations with small steps, right? In this case, because he's a right-handed attacker, I'm going to move right. Now, that makes you think if it's a left-handed that makes you think if it's a left-handed attacker, I'm going to move left. But you wouldn't. Mark, can I borrow you? You wouldn't necessarily do that, and we'll show you a left-handed attacker, right? And we'll kind of show you why. And if you're a left-handed, it's in reverse. You need your sword at least. You don't need your shield unless you want to. Lefty, yeah. We'll show you why you would move in a particular direction. We'll do a little experimenting here, right? Should we move left or right? So Herc is left-handed, I'm right-handed, okay? So you might guess that you should move left, right? That might be your guess. If I move left on Herc, right, go ahead, throw your favorite shot. Right, I give him exactly what he wants. He wants sword side hip. As it turns out, it's the same target that the right-handed person wants. Now, in order for me to get my defense in between his offense, I still have to go right. So the answer is the same. That makes it easy for you. You don't need to go left to block a left-handed person and right to block a right-handed person. You just need to go right, right? So if he throws that same hip and I just step, see, I take away with my shield. I just step right, take away with my shield, right? Lefties like to throw at that same thing with that shoulder. If I step left, I move my board there, right? If I stay there, right? If I step right, sorry. If I step left, he can get it. If I step left, even go backwards, then he can follow up. See, this is the problem. If I step left, even if it blocks that shot, I step left, block this way. Yeah, he comes right back down, right? And if you're a left-handed fighter, it's the same thing. You want to minimize this target. So Herc is going to move that way on me, because if he doesn't, stay right there, right? It's easy for me to hit, right? So if he does, just step, right? He takes away that. I can go back. I can go as deep as I want, step, right? He takes that away. He did not move his board. He did not have to take his board and go make any big drastic movements. He just took a small step, okay? And even if I go and I go ahead and take steps, say I do fake it over here, and I go to take a step, that's a good preemptive move. Stay right there. Now I'm gonna go ahead, stay right. I'm gonna try to take a step, right? But he's already shifted for that. He's ready for that. So if he slides his foot and sees me coming again, he just slides that way again, right? So I throw here, the steps again. Then you have to move the board. Force the habit for him to move the board, but he didn't have to, right? If he does it to me, if he throws, right? I just step again. Just step one more time. It's just a matter of this, right? Every time we're moving, just a little bit, to get our board in the right place, right? That's the basics of it, moving right or left. On a left-handed fighter, you still move right, right? You still do it same way. Right-handed fighter, same thing. Thanks. All right. So that's movement for defense. I'll check real quick, see if anyone has any questions. How do you close rapidly while maintaining the lateral element? We're going to get to that right now. It'll be movement for offense. Let's see if there's any other questions. What about a step in on the board side, shoulder step in with sword side? I'm not sure what that means, but I'll see if I'm going to answer that. Get back to me if I don't answer that. Jeff, in the course of what we're going to talk about, because now we're going to shift to offense a little bit. This is basics. Remember, there's a lot more to it than just I'm going to step right minimally. But if you just want to start implementing footwork into your game, this step right minimally thing is what you need to do, right? That's really kind of all you need to do to start with. It's not all you need to do ever, but it is a good start, right? Offense. Let me borrow you, Jason. This is our friend D-Side. He's here with us. Just back from a long break. Let me make sure we're in the frame here.
Now we're in the down stick.
Okay. Movement for offense. Again, this is just starting. There's a lot of different ways to move to generate offense, but we're already moving right for defense, right? We're already doing it. And I told you they could be the same thing, so we're going to continue our right step movement to generate offense, right? If I'm kind of here, and I know he's going to throw at me, and I step to the right, I have a quick answer right here, right? I can kind of reactionary fight to that, right? I also have a step here. I can go over, take advantage of this right here. Then we would slide this, right? And if I'm moving right, surprisingly enough, let's go again. I move right surprisingly enough. I have an option. If I go here like a twitch, I come under and hit right there. My hand just comes down, right? I'm not going to really show you details. I'll show you details on this one shot in a little bit, but the point is you can put your board in a good spot, right? I twitch over here, I can still hit you, right? Because I'm off center. That seems counterintuitive that I want to hit him here. I'm going to move there. But what does it do if you think about it? It gives me an angle that I don't have before. If I stay right here, he and I are right in front of each other, and I go to throw that, right? I don't have a good angle on it. What if I lower myself? I still don't have a good angle on it, right? I have to do something. You see people when they put their head that way? That's giving them an angle that they need. You have to either move your weight or yourself. Probably if I move my weight so I can get under there, now I'm stuck, right? I've planted myself to the floor. I can't move after that if he blocks it. So, if I'm already moving right for defense, and then I take this right step here, then I have options, right? I could go right for the shoulder that I see right now, or I could just twitch at it and know that he knows that, and he'll raise his board a little bit, go back here, right? Come under for arm, come into that spot, right? It's right there. Keep it tight, you can keep it tight. Right? As you're moving and transitioning in offense, you might have to take a bigger step in the direction than just the little steps we're talking about. So we're like, defend, defend, defend. Offense, right? Now we're in offense mode. We've taken this bigger step here, right? We're never going to stay in this position, but it's good to step here. We have that as an option. We have that as an option again. In fast motion, we're kind of here, we're moving right, big step, right? Boom, right over. Moving right, big step, underneath, right? Real quick, it hits as your foot hits when you take your big closing step. So your launch point needs to be about max range for your sword so your threats are real, right? I need to threaten for real. If I'm here and he's smart, he reacts to nothing. None of this matters. If someone's doing this crap to you from outside of range, you should smile at them and do nothing. There's no reason to give them anything on that. They can't do anything. Until they move close enough to you to actually hit you, you can fake. You can fake reactions, right, to get them to fall into your trap. I don't want to get too much into that. But do nothing from here. Once I get here, now I'm dangerous, right? Now, at least at max range, I can hit things, I can hit legs. I can commit a little bit and hit shoulders if I want to over his board, right? I can really commit like Pork Chop does. Try to hit that arm over there, right? Those are all things that I can do from this range that I can't do from this range, right? I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. The difference is subtle. You have to understand that difference because your launch point, right? Now I'm outside of range. If I take those same steps we just talked about, can't get it. Can't get it. Can't really get it. Kind of, but not really. That's not good. And you're reaching, not good. So your launch point has to be from like max range, right? Here, it's max range. I can actually hit him with things. You'll know the tip of my sword can touch his board, right? I can hit things from here. Especially if I commit a little bit, maybe reach a little too much. So you wouldn't want to throw too much from here, but know that you're in a good spot. And then you can start using your steps. Again, we're already kind of moving right? We're moving right for defense. We're moving right for defense. Anytime you throw something, we're going to try to step right. And then when we see our opportunity, when we feel like we're in this spot, we're a little bit closer, then we'll take our right step. That puts us here. Again, we're not going to stay here, but our launching point was here at this tape, right? We knew we were close enough. We could just touch with our sword on his board. Now we come here. Again, easy option, right? Easy option, right? Easy option, right? Now they're not going to stay like this. They're going to react. So what do we do to react? If I'm here. He's going to turn that way, right? As soon as you see his body do that, go back. As soon as you see him start to turn, he puts his hip there for you. Like he helps you. He really does. Why? Because we force the reaction. Our movement has to force a reaction. I learned a lot about this helping teach Nico basketball. That's my son. But if we don't step outside of his board, if we just step to the inside of his board still, he doesn't have to react that much, right? If I'm here, same distance, right? We have good distance, but I step to right here, you're not really going to do anything. He doesn't need to do anything because I'm still, all my flex are still here, right? If I'm going to try to reach something, now I've put myself in a bad spot. You can see my knees all bent. It's terrible, right? It's not going to be good. So you have to get your step to such a place that it's outside of his board. Now, yes, now he has to react to me, right? And now he's worried. See, without even thinking about it, at least I don't think he thought about it, he twitched his defense up a little bit higher. What does that do? It opens this a little bit, right? So what would I do? Fucking throw at it, for sure. But what's even better than that? Just a twitch. I'll give you guys a little bonus. This is feints now, just a touch. Right, I'll twitch my elbow down because he's worried about me doing that because I've done it to him a lot of times, right? If we're in this situation, he's worried about that, right? So I twitch my elbow down, okay? I didn't move my sword. Notice I didn't do anything with this. I just did this. And look, again, without him thinking about it, his board came down and his shoulder came open. Just with this motion. Nothing crazy. Nothing with my hand going way deep, right? Nothing that caused my stance to be compromised, right? I just twitched. So in this process, I go all the way back. Come here. I make sure I'm in good range, right? I step outside of this board so he has to react. You already twitched. Look, you already adjusted. I twitch my hand down, right? I don't even have to look and I know that shot's there. All I have to see is that the board is going to move. When do I see that? In the process of taking my step. While you're taking your step, you have to pay attention to what they do, right? If he does nothing, and he just lets me get outside of him, I can finish, or I can finish. Either one of them is viable options. Here, if he doesn't do anything, he just lets me get here. And then the last piece, this foot can't stay here. This is not a good position for you to hang out in. It's a good position for you to throw a shot in. Last piece, slide back, right? We're back in a good defensive posture. If he decides to press an attack on us from here, we have full advantage. We have the better angles. He's already behind us in his movement, right? We've taken control. So, someone asked, how do you understand or know when to close? This is when I'm in range, and then the other. All right, we'll talk about it a little bit. This is maybe a little bit deeper, but the other thing you're going to watch is the weight on his feet, right? If I can get him in the course of my movement to get heavy on a foot, and right, you'll notice when he does it because his shoulder will go down a little bit, right? That can be something like that, very safe, like just like a jab, right? I get him to bear down. People, when things are flying at them, have a tendency to do what? Clinch down. They bear down on their weight on their feet. They clinch down on their defense, right? So he bears down, and then I step, and he's already locked, and I'm way over here, right? And he's wide open for it. So we're doing this as beginning stuff. There's plenty of other things you can do, but we're just talking about I'm moving right for defense, right? We've shown how moving right can block this, and block this, and block that. So we know moving right is good. Since we're already doing that, as we get off center, we find our launch point. I like to wait till I'm cheek to cheek, right here, and then I'll take my step, right when I get into it. Move into it little by little step, right? And then here, right? If he overreacts to that here, then I dip down, boom, done, right? Either one, good threats. But the point is, moving right is beneficial for a start, just to get started with movement. Let me make sure I answered all the questions. How do you close lateral? Oh, rapidly. James Neal, I hope that answered your question. It's that big right step. That big right step is a rapid close, right? You put yourself in a good position as far as range goes, and you take that big right step and get the close. What about a step in on the board side shoulder? Step in with sword side. I think I answered that question, right? We stepped in with our sword side on their board side shoulder, and we hit over the shoulder, right? So I think that answered that question. Jeff, you let me know if that did or didn't. But just to review what we covered, I'll get back into the screen. review what we covered. Why do we move? We move to maximize our opportunities and minimize our exposures, right? We want our best opportunities to throw shots that are going to hit. We want to minimize our exposure to getting hit, right? So we put ourselves in the best position to put the foam on someone and the worst position for them to put the foam on us. Basically, it boiled down. It's why we move. We want to get in, right? We want to open up opportunities. Now, range is the other thing. You know, we also want to control range with movement. I can easily move right or left and just slide. Look, I'll step back a little bit and slide, just back a tiny bit and slide, right? Left is the same way. Slide, slide. Some of the don'ts, what don't we do? We don't, in general, cross our feet. So if I'm moving right, I'm not going to move here, then cross here, then move here, then cross here. It's a much slower movement, right? If I'm moving left, I'm not going to cross my feet. We don't generally want to do that, right? So we want to not do that. Get in our good stance. We step and then we slide. That's the other piece. We don't generally want to step, 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 step. Why don't we want to do that? Because anytime my foot's too far off the ground, my 100% of my weight's on the other foot, right? I'm 100% of my weight's on my right foot now, my back foot. Whereas if I keep it low and I'm sliding, right, my time that I'm stuck with my weight in a bad place is minimal, right? The amount of time that my weight's on my lead foot or my back foot is minimized because I'm sliding. You can see marks all throughout the dojo. That's where we slide as we move. So it's a step and slide. Step and slide. You want to advance? Step and slide. Step and slide. Oh yeah, and that's another thing about that. Your closing step, sometimes if they're farther away, you'll have to slide your back foot up, right? To really get the good distance on my step, I'll slide my back foot up and I'll step. Right, and then slide. Whole thing, step, right? Someone asked for some drills earlier. How can I practice this on my own? What I tend to do is I'll try to put out cones, or there's tape out here, so that's pretty good. And I'll just step to it, right? If I need to go somewhere, if I need to practice movement, I'll know I have to step to this tape. That's my first step. I'm in range now, right? I'll step to this tape. That's my second step. That's my closing step. And then I'll slide back to this tape. That's when I'm back in defense, right? Mark it for the length of stride that you have for your own body type, so you're never too heavy or too deep, right? You don't want to be too deep into your step. You're looking for like that 50, 50, 60, 40 kind of position with your weight distribution on your front and back foot, so you can always move in any direction, right? So, step. There's dots here, so I'm using them as if they were cones, but you can put tape on the ground as well. Step. Here I'll slide up. Step. Right? This is actually too long for me, but just to show you as an example, it would be about right here. This would be where I'd put the tape. Step, step, and then slide back, full defense. You know, the tape would be in the proper places to show all of that stuff. So, a drill you can practice yourself. Do it with just your feet first. Step to the dot, step to the dot, step to the tape, right? Again, this one's a little big for me, but you get the point. As you get that down and it's in your muscle memory, pick your gear up. Make sure your gear stays in good position. Step, 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 the whole time. Keep your gear in a good spot. Then put your pedal in front of you where you have the tape and actually execute the shots that you're practicing on your pedal, right? Here's the opener, maybe. A little tap to the board, I step, throw the close, slide and step. Done. Over and over again. And I have a video about this already, but just so you know, step, here, close, right? And I'm exaggerating how far this arm's out. It's not really that far out, but it's to get the point that I'm just going through all the proper footwork, right? All the way to the close. Step to each piece, and then go through that as you're practicing the shot on your pel. Every piece, all the way back, full defense, right? Is how you would pel a shot. That's how you practice it. So, again, in closing, we move, maximize and minimize. Maximize our opportunity, minimize our exposure. We don't cross our feet. We don't pick up our feet too much, right? We keep our weight even. We can move in any direction easily, right? Step and slide. Like Mary Poppins, eh? Step in time, step and slide. Just so you can remember, right? If we practice, we can get the dots, we can get the cones, whatever. That should do it, man. That's, once again, I'm Delos or James with OGN. Let us know if you have any questions. Let us know what other kind of videos you guys would want to see. We'll see if we can put them together for you. Thanks.